Hi Cancer, welcome to your October 2020 General Tarot reading. I want to say 2020, it sounds weird to say 2020. It's Raina here, and oof. Okay, let's see what we got here. All right, that starts things on a nice note. I like to see that. So here we have two pentacles flanking the Magician card, a very good omen, and that's a good omen too. This is a great reading, actually. I love that the Magician card is at the center of it all. Usually I start with that center card, which is the focus card, but I'm going to start with the past position in this one. The past position is the Knight of Pentacles, which can be a card of somebody who is in that work flow, that hustle flow of just the daily grind of, but not in a bad sense of just like making money and maybe having a goal of making money and just pursuing it doggedly. This is a card associated with Taurus, and that's what Taurian energy is. It's a fixed earth energy. So just like day after day after day, you just keep putting in your hours and you get, you earn money and you save money and you are just, it's not very imaginative. It's just like kind of having that consistency, I would say, is a big part of it too. The earth element is very grounded, and with the fixed element, or the fixed modality, you're talking about consistency, going the long haul, not just kind of petering out, let's say. The higher message, the focus card is the Magician. So why did I pick this? Why did I want to do this second? Because the Knight of Pentacles is the past, which means that you are not necessarily thinking in that same way anymore. That might have been your belief system, that if you just work hard enough and you just put in the time and you do what you're required to do, you'll eventually get financially independent and yada yada. Is that true? I think it can be true, but I don't think it's always true. I think that there are some industries, some companies, and people that you work for, and they don't hardly give you a raise. They don't, that even if you were had a good work ethic, which I think the Knight of Pentacles does, you're not necessarily going to be rewarded for that, because the way that they feel, I guess, is that there are so many people that they can get instead that they don't really value that as much as they should. And the Magician is about understanding that you hold the key, that you don't have to be dependent on this outer entity for your own sustenance. Now, I said sustenance. I didn't say getting rich quick or anything like that, because it all depends on your philosophy of life, I guess, if that is so important to you in the first place. But I think that the problem that may be with the Knight of Pentacles that has kind of bothered some of you is that we had a global situation that turned everything upside down, and a lot of people in this world were caught up in that Knight of Pentacles lifestyle. Day after day, wash, rinse, repeat, and then all of a sudden it stopped or it changed drastically. And one of the outgrowths or outcomes, whatever you want to call it, of the situation, in my opinion, is that people began to see that they were more powerful than they thought, that what they thought was their savior, that there are no guarantees in this world, that even, your company may be, totally have your back and all that stuff, but you can't control world events. So what do you do in that case? How do you deal with that? And so the Magician card is about stepping into your own sovereignty, I would say, first and foremost, because it's the number one. So it's like looking out for number one. It's associated with Aries, which is the first house in astrology. So there's that independence that it represents. But the Magician, we think of somebody who, it's like an alchemist, right? I mean, taking a crumpled piece of white paper and putting it into a black hat and turning it into a dove. Are you kidding me? I mean, that's really cool. And there's some area of your life that needs this sort of major rehab, or I shouldn't say rehab, but extreme makeover. And really, it comes down to the self with this card. Reliance, self-reliance, and having what you need to do this, not feeling like, oh gosh, I have to depend on this outer entity because I don't have what it takes. I don't have, and you have your knowledge and you have your talents that you possess. The higher message, so that looking at it from the spiritual perspective, look at the hands that are out, and we have the person who's got the scale and is the gold coin. Now, sometimes this can mean an inheritance. It can have other meanings that can be like you're helping out family members or something along those lines. But sometimes this can, the scale means that the person who is helping feels this sense that they have to even things out, even the playing field, by giving others in need some money. So it can be charity that is being given. But in this context, I think it's more going back to that Knight of Pentacles is, were you getting what you deserve? Is it possible that you were working for less money than you deserve and you were doing your part? You were showing up on time, you were doing what was asked of you, and you were being taken advantage of. But the Magician would say, there are no victims, only volunteers. Nobody forces you to be there. Do your own thing. Do for self. And that can be something that then you don't have to worry about being taken advantage of. You can set your own prices. However, obviously, there can be people who try to talk down your price, or they can try to cheat you. So it's never something that you can completely avoid, even if you work for yourself. And of course, you don't have the guarantee of a weekly paycheck, and some cancers may not like that aspect of it. It all depends. What crosses you is the Eight of Wands, and this suggests that there may be a lot going on, and you may be tempted, even though you're a cautious person. I think overall, Cancer, you may be tempted to just like do something suddenly, rashly, instead of, out of a sense of emotion, instead of kind of letting things settle down. And the thing is, like, if you have Mars in Aries, this can be exacerbated, where you have a tendency to kind of do things that are too impulsive. I know that sounds strange with Cancer, but you may have inner planets in Gemini and or Aries. Well, I think you could. Yeah, you could. You could have both, and that may create this sense of urgency, because you are a cardinal sign at the end of the day, and they like to take charge and take action. But sometimes action is not warranted. Sometimes the action you need to take is to just not do something rather than do it. And this is the conundrum that can occur with some people, is that they have a tendency, some talking about some cancers, is that they have a tendency to be way too willing to just throw in the towel with a relationship or something like that, instead of, being much more, well, let me put it this way. I don't think this is necessarily a relationship issue. If it is, I would say that the Taurus individual, the person, is maybe too possessive, or is trying to restrict your freedom of motion. Maybe they want to control the money in the house, and that makes you, crazy. But in terms of work matters, when you feel like you're not getting what you deserve financially, it can feel like disrespect. So it's understandable for sure. But how you go about it, that's the question. What is coming in, or the advice, is the King of Wands. And when I say advice, I don't tell people what to do. I just say the cards advice as a position. The King of Wands is the ultimate in your own, being your own master, being your own captain of your own ship. And if this is maybe this is an Aries person who has come into your life that is very exciting, but things are going too fast. Perhaps this is a coworker, or maybe the Knight of Pentacles is your current partner, and this is another person that you have met that is much more exciting than the Taurus or the Knight of Pentacles. And you may compare the two and think, oh gosh, I can't be with that person. But really, they are kind of like salt of the earth. This person may be very fiery, and you may learn a lot from this person. It could be, it's funny, I was going to say a co-worker with the other person. This could be the boss, the King of Wands. But you could be the boss of yourself and stepping into your power. And that might mean that you are working for yourself. And if that's the case, I mean, the Four of Pentacles is a card of financial security. So it's not something that is risky, although this can also be holding on to your money quite for dear life, because maybe you are concerned about anything connected to risk, financial risk, or what have you. So, but it can be that you continue to maintain financial security in your life. Also, if you are choosing between fire and earth, you will choose earth, because you may realize that the King of Wands reminds you of your father, and there's a take charge quality, but ultimately you may feel that this person is not compatible with you. Maybe they're actually the more controlling one when all is said and done. But they could be larger than life, and that might be what attracted you to them. Okay, that's what I have for you, Cancer. I hope that you enjoyed this, resonated with it. If you would like a personal reading, I'm primarily an astrologer, and there are all kinds of readings that I offer. The link is below for them. Take care. Bye.